Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to wish all the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day. I hope you know you're loved, and I hope you are surrounded by those who love you. And I wish I could be with my mom today, but I can't. So I'm here with you. Okay. So let me just bring my microphone in here a little bit closer. Let me just make sure the sound is good. Okay. You guys can hear me all right? So, as many of you know who watched my last podcast with Consuelo, I was introduced to more of my Galactic family. Don't mind the dogs next door barking. I was introduced to more of my Galactic family who are not in this galaxy. They come from a very far away galaxy, and I've had a couple lifetimes there on this planet that at least I know of as a healer and as a leader. And these beings, if you've missed the podcast, these beings are blue-skinned. They have African features, so humanoid, smaller heads, longer necks. Their hair is mohawk style, but it doesn't grow on the sides of the head, so it's a natural mohawk hair. And when I was in meditation today, just kind of reconnecting to get more of the message to share with you today, I was actually seeing in some of the females, and some of the males, feathers, different colored feathers woven in through the hair. So beautiful, beautiful beings. And so this message is about the lover and the warrior and the necessity to merge both aspects of yourself, both the warrior aspect of yourself and the lover aspect of yourself, merging them together in order to be able to access the higher timelines. Now, these beings, I received some messages in an Akashic session last week that really started to make sense as to why I was feeling certain things and why I had felt a certain energy kind of moving through me in some of my videos, which I think some of you have even commented on it, which is, I think, really interesting. So as you guys know, I've put out quite a few, just a couple of videos recently on the V, and how my stance is that I'm really just not gravitating towards either side of the fear porn. This year has been really transformative for me on a personal level, where taking back my own sovereignty from a place of really choosing where I'm going to put my energy, what I'm going to focus on, and take it out of all the places that I was putting it into that were ultimately helping to create more division. Despite what I wanted, I had to be honest with myself. I was feeding into systems that were creating more division and not allowing for the full journey of each soul to be expressed in whatever way that it's learning in this current moment in time, okay, in this reality. And one of the things that I've truly kind of had to face are some of my deeper fears in the first few months of this year. Fears would have taken me into a bit of a downward spiral. February was a very difficult month for me. I didn't really talk too much about it, but it was a very difficult month for me. And I found myself in a tailspin of emotions that I wasn't used to, where I felt like I was breaking down. I didn't have control. I felt like I was reliving old fears, not just from this lifetime, but were bleeding through from past lifetimes as well. And just feeling like my whole life was falling apart pretty much. And I think, they always say, you experience a breakdown before you have a breakthrough. And I can definitely see that transpiring over the first little few months here. I guess we're getting up to, well, it's been 4 months now of 2021. And so in April, leading into this month, May, I was really just getting, okay, what's the right word here to use? Just dismayed with the amount of fear coming from both sides of the aisle, both sides of the narrative, so to speak. And, like, I think we've been in this game, for those of you who've been awakened for a little bit, and even those who may be even newly awakened, I think a lot of us are getting further red-pilled into how much disinformation and disinfo agents are out there to completely muddy the waters and blur all the lines of truth. And so the only real way that I know I can come into alignment with truth is to turn inward. I'm not going to find it through information on someone else's, website or opinions or, narrative or whatever it is. Ultimately, I have to, for the most part, turn inward. It doesn't mean that I can't still receive information outside of me, but I know for the most part, I have to go within, and I have to be willing to see the truth of my own fears in order to start alleviating them from what I'm seeing outside of me. So the reason why I'm saying all of this is because in April, I just got this undescribable feeling and energy of almost like breaking the chains of all of the narratives, and really understanding that there's always going to be a solution to all problems that we face here in this world. All problems that you're going to face in your life, there's always going to be a solution. In fact, there's probably multiple solutions. And we cannot be in alignment with the solution when we're still in alignment with the frequency of the problem. Okay, the solution to a problem is never found in the same frequency field. So I've kind of wanted, the reason why I did that video on the contrast of the two narratives, and I'm bringing this up because this is when the energy really started to permeate through me of what these blue beings were describing to me, and the importance of holding, is that I want to fight for my freedom, and I want to fight for my right to be sovereign. Sovereign in my own thinking, sovereign in my own actions, sovereign in my own opinions, and sovereign in my own energy field. But at the same time, I don't want to allow the narratives to pull me away from the unity that I came here to help merge back together. A lot of us are here to unify, to harmonize and bring that frequency of unity back within. When we think about balancing the masculine and the feminine energies, we can look at one narrative might be a little bit more masculine and one narrative might be a little bit more feminine, right? Because but at the same time, they're both kind of coming from a bit of a wounded place. And the message I'm going to read to you, because I've taken some notes here, but the message here is, because these blue skin beings were once very strong warriors, and they still are, but they're also very strong lovers. And they said it's important for us to embody both the warrior and the lover at the same time in order to access the higher timelines. That it is not possible to reach the higher timelines without merging those two together. And the higher timeline is about unity. It is about community, bringing people back together, bringing the lost fractal parts of ourselves, as well as the lost fractal parts of the collective, all back together into more of a wholesome, cohesive unit. And So let me kind of go over some of the messages here, because these beings are also, I think I mentioned this in the podcast last Tuesday, that they, on their planet, all beings are able to express themselves authentically without any judgment. And there is all support for you in your own authentic expression as a soul. And it is completely honored and embraced. And so they said with this warrior, when you embody the warrior and the lover, as we go through this human journey of trying to bridge the divide, because there is a major it just seems like things are getting more and more divided. They say full expression of your authentic divine blueprint is so important at this time. So learning how to fully express that blueprint that is completely authentic of your soul, that is a remembrance of who you are from your origin point of creation, okay, is so important. You being able to express that. And that comes through the emergence of warrior and lover. And they're saying that we will not find this ability to fully express our divine authentic blueprint in any system that we're currently playing in at this time on this planet. That it must be shown through our own expression. Okay, so each of us showing up in our own way, just in our day-to-day, and through the demonstration, it organically comes into being. It becomes a new system, but it won't be thought of. So the system will not be thought of. It will become what it is through the continuous bravery of self-expression in one's own sovereignty to exercise this via the love for unity and peace. So this is what I was feeling when I was doing that video. I'm like, and I know some of you kind of talked about this warrior energy kind of coming through in that video. I felt it, I feel that it's so important to fight for love and the ability to hold one another and to love one another and to embrace one another and to be okay with, the fact that if one person wants to get the V and someone else doesn't, that doesn't mean you still can't be together, and be in harmony with one another. Because what are we fighting sovereignty for if we're not able to allow that? We're not truly in alignment with the sovereignty frequencies if we're not. And it's this desire to love another that fuels the warrior spirit. So the warrior spirit is driven by the desire for love of another and self. So they're also said the lover and the warrior will form a bridge of unity and peace for others to cross into a higher timeline, but it is not forced. It is only created for those ready to cross at their own volition. So this is important because sometimes, we kind of get into this space of, I just want to wake my family up, or I just want to wake my partner up, or I just want to wake my friends up, or I just want to wake my coworkers up, so I don't have to live like this anymore. And that is not in alignment with the individual journey of the soul to freely express and learn. So they said it must be done at their own volition. So we create the bridge of unity with no expectation that anyone will cross it, okay, but ourselves. No journey shall impede or step on another in the light of true sovereignty. Love for the individual journey must always stay at the forefront of the mission. The collective journey is never more important than the individual. It is amalgamation of each soul's desire to express itself through its own lessons and desire to transmute those lessons into wisdom. So we must be willing to allow each of us to express ourselves authentically. And in that moment of so we have to remember that we each hold our own awareness, at whatever consciousness we're at. Okay. And there are going to be people at different levels of awareness. Their consciousness is going to be at different levels. And so we have to honor that whatever their truth or authenticity in that moment is being spoken, we have to honor it, and allow it just to be so that we can allow this vibration of acceptance to begin permeating the field, okay? Not just around us, but those who come into contact with us as well. And I think this is really important in order to understand that accessing the higher timeline is very difficult without merging these two together. Because if you're not in unity with that warrior spirit and lover, so if you're just like fighting for truth, but not from a place of like love to accept another person's soul journey and to also accept your own, I think we can all say that each and every one of us has likely fallen into that trap time and time again through our own ego, just getting caught up in some of the division that we find. So one last little message that I kind of was putting together here when I came out of meditation, and I'll probably be posting this week. When the heart awakens to its own liberation, authentic expression will permeate every breath you take, every word you speak, and every creation you make. And that is the importance of authentic expression. Being able to express both the masculine and feminine energies, the fighter and the lover, all at the same time, how they are synchronized and working in tandem with one another. I think a lot of times we can get caught up in missing the boat on that, and we can get caught up in a lot of the energies, a lot of the fear, a lot of the division. And so I'm just not really interested in a lot of the fear right now. I know people will send me certain videos about all the stuff about this or that, and that's why I did the podcast last Saturday on, the solutions, because I feel very confident with those solutions. I know with those very simple solutions that are cheap and affordable that we don't really have anything to worry. And I don't want to spend my time worrying about all these other things. I know enough information to know what I need to know in order to move forward. But again, moving forward is really moving inward to deepen the bonds of my own DNA. I want to deepen the bonds of my own DNA to activate it further. I want to discover how powerful I really am. I want to know what's waiting to be unlocked within me. And if I'm worried too much about other people or what this side of government's going to do or that side of government's going to do or this media site's going to say or that media site's going to say, then I'm just not focused on that activation and unlocking that power. I'm focused on something else. And so this is just a message that I thought was important for all of us. I wanted to share some of this that came through, and there's so much wisdom here from these beings. It's really powerful. I did receive some more information that I'll share with you that's not exactly pertinent to this, but they did say that the way the galaxy is operating is shifting. Who is let in and out now is changing very quickly. And if you want to communicate with beings from further galaxies, what will be helpful, one is if you have a connection to that family, okay, you've had past lives or interactions with that race, but also having an open mind is really important. The more open your mind, the more able you are to access the further away beings who are now coming more and more to reach out to some of us here on the planet to help bring messages that come from far and wide. And so keeping an open mind means you have to be able to merge the polarities. You cannot find yourself on one side of the fence or the other. You have to find yourself in the space of the void where there is a pause, where there is silence, and where there is openness to all possibilities. This is the space that you will find to be able to connect to more of your guides who are coming in from further away places than what we're typically used to. So, can I say that again? Wise Mama Bear, what part? I don't know when you wrote that. Girl, if you can just tell me which part you want me to repeat, and then I can. So that's my message for all of you today. I hope that it lands well with you, and I hope that you are resting peacefully in your own heart with your own journey, regardless of the twists and turns and the uphills and the downhills that are very cyclical in nature. We're all going to experience them, and that's why we have one another to lean on one another when the times get a little tougher. And that's important. So yeah, Wise Mama Bear, just let me know what part, or else I won't know. I can't say, but let me just see if there's any other questions that kind of came through here. Okay. Let me see here. All right. I think we're going to end it there. Guys, I love you so much. If you're not following me on Telegram, please do. I'm going to be uploading. I'm trying to keep my channel just really more uplifting, more high vibration, to bring you messages that will assist you in any way. I do that on my Instagram as well. I've already got a couple mini videos I'm going to be doing that I've already got downloads for. So I'm going to be putting some stuff out there as I use this channel for some of the longer videos. All right, guys, I love you so much. So this Tuesday, my podcast, I'm having Paul Unslaved back on the show. I know he was a big favorite with some of you, and we're going to get into a little bit more of the spiritual aspects of the common law journey, and really understanding who you are. So it's going to be more of a consciously expanding kind of conversation. So yeah, so I hope you'll join me at 8 p.m. on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Guys, I love you so much. And for those of you in my alchemy program, I'll see you in a few hours on our live call. I got lots to share about the upcoming new moon, the lunar eclipse at the end of the month, and the solar eclipse coming up in June. We're going to touch on that as well. So I look forward to seeing many of you on the call in a few hours. Guys, I love you so much, and I'll be back with you guys.